Read all about it. Read all about it.
I wonder what that's all about.
No news is good news, they say. Oh, I'm fed up with waiting around here.
What are you waiting for?
The paddle steamer, the Frolic. They should have been here hours ago. I wonder what the delay is this time. There's always something going on with that ship. It's always in the news.
Oh, don't say that. Do you remember I sent that seed to my brother in Haverfordwest? Landed there on Friday, sown in the field by Saturday night it was. Imagine, it only took 10 hours. A beautiful ship, the Frolic. A real cut above it is. There's no better way to travel, I can assure you, my friend.
Well, I'll be glad just to see it turn up. My wife and child are aboard, you know. And what atrocious weather we had last night.
Don't worry. Captain Jenkins is a fine man and an experienced captain. And he often takes his family on board, they say.
Read all about it. Read all about it.
The Frolic, a wooden paddle steamer, first sailed between Haverfordwest and Bristol in October 1830 under Captain Edward Jenkins, formerly a Royal Naval commander and experienced Channel trader. Newspaper advertisements at the time declared,
Proprietors are anxious that the regularity, cleanliness and comfort of the vessel shall be such as will be given general satisfaction. The cabins for the ladies and gentlemen are distinct and convenient. The dining room communicates with both.
The Cambrian newspaper on October the 22nd reported how the Frolic was greeted by the inhabitants of Haverfordwest at the end of its first voyage. The sight was truly imposing, and the parade, the quay and the banks of the river were thronged with spectators who most heartily hailed her approach. The advantages that will result to the inhabitants of Pembrokeshire are truly great.
Read all about it. Read all about it. Ferocious storms at sea.
"17th of March, dawn breaks on a tranquil morning. All is calm, waves lap gently on the Glamorganshire shore. The steam packet, Bristol, sailing from Swansea to Bristol, is the first to report wreckage bestrewing the waters of the Nash Passage.
Ahoy! Ahoy! Wreckage to the port side.
Captain Edwards, see ashore, sir. 'Tis a paddle box, surely.
And a ship's boiler, if I'm not mistaken, lying upon the sands.
This looks bad, sir.
Who could have survived such a catastrophe? God rest their souls. Read all about it. Read all about it. Dreadful shipwreck. Loss of the Frolic with no survivors. First bodies washed ashore. Read all about it.
News spreads along the coast, and soon both locals and relatives gather to undertake the melancholy task of retrieving and identifying bodies.
The latest accounts brought by the Welsh mails state the number to be 51, besides the captain who was picked up on Friday. The captain was found lashed to the rigging, and his watch had stopped at a few minutes before 4, from which the time of the catastrophe might be inferred.
A small boy is found with the captain. Was this his son?
A woman's body with 2 suitcases nearby. Did she think they'd help her to float to shore?
A mother is found, washed up on the beach, clutching her child in her arms.
London newspapers are full of speculation about the circumstances under which Captain Jenkins had elected to sail that night.
They say the captain had a big argument with his pilot, you know.
It was the shipping company putting pressure on him to use the inner passage to save time.
Of course, he had a stake in the ship himself, didn't he?
These were rumours, all unfounded. Locals believed the tempestuous weather was solely to blame. Captain Edwards was unlucky.
Read all about it. Read all about it. Death toll rises to 79.
There had been all classes of passengers on board. General MacLeod, Colonel Boyd, Bennett, Richards and Benjamin George, 3 runaway apprentices who took their chance to make their fortune. Miss Mary Henderson, aged 19, and her brother Thomas, 20, only son and daughter of Mr. W. Henderson, contractor of the new pier at Hobbs Point, from which the blighted Frolic sailed.
It was the custom to sew sovereigns into their clothes in those days, to keep them safe. All that extra weight, they didn't stand a chance.
Bodies continued to be washed up from Baglan in the west to Cadoxton in the east for many months as, it was supposed, the wreck continued to break apart. The dead were buried in the villages where they had come ashore.
Burial notices, the Cambrian newspaper. April the 22nd, 1831. The body of a young man by the name of Benjamin George was one of the passengers on the Frolic steam packet.
March 26, 1831. Penmark. A woman found on the beach at Fontigary, supposed to be above 50 years of age.
July the 1st, 1831. On Sunday, a body supposed to be one of the unfortunate passengers of the Frolic steam packet was found on the coast near Porthkerry, where it was interred the same evening. It was the body of a man, but in a very decomposed state. The upper part of the body a mere skeleton. Here was a piece of flannel pinned round the throat, and the waistband of the trousers was still on appearing to be of fustian, with one of the brace buttons in front white and the other black.
Friday, May 16th, 1831. The body of Mr. Henderson, who perished in the Frolic steam packet, was washed ashore a little to the eastward of Dunraven Castle Sunday last, and was interred at Cowbridge in the same grave as his sister.
Carmarthen Journal, March 25th, 1831. Sir, the melancholic loss of the Frolic steam packet, with the whole of her passengers and crew, afford a most convincing proof that the navigation of that portion of the Bristol Channel has been most shamefully neglected, and thus a most deplorable loss of life has been occasioned. The propriety of having a lighthouse on Nash Point has been frequently and repeatedly urged, and strong petitions to that effect had been presented to the Trinity House. I trust this humble appeal circulated through the medium of your valuable and liberal paper will not pass unheeded.
It was the custom to sew sovereigns into their clothes in those days, to keep them safe.
The Cambrian newspaper, April 27th, 1832. The Nash lighthouses. We are happy to hear that the lighthouses which are now building on the Nash Point in this county are now in a state of great forwardness, and that the execution of the work reflects great credit to Mr. Nelson, the architect, and his nephew.
All that extra weight, they didn't stand a chance.
Cambrian newspaper, September 1st, 1832, Bristol Channel. The lights on Nash Point will be exhibited on this day and are thenceforth to be continued.
They didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance.